From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. With new measures in place to keep order, President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden squared off tonight, looking to sway undecided voters, if there are any still, with less than 2 weeks until Election Day. Skylar Henry has more from the final presidential debate.
President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden squared off for their final debate before Election Day. The president defended his handling of the pandemic.
We closed up the greatest economy in the world in order to fight this horrible disease that came from China. We have a vaccine that's coming. It's ready. It's going to be announced within weeks.
Biden outlined his plan for fighting COVID-19.
I'm going to shut down the virus, not the country. It's his ineptitude that caused the country to have to shut down in large part.
The candidates addressed the topic of interference in the election from overseas.
They will pay a price if I'm elected. They're interfering with American sovereignty.
Nobody tougher than me on Russia. Between the sanctions.
Biden responded to President Trump's claims about the international business dealings of Biden and his son Hunter.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China. I have not had it. The only guy made money from China is this guy.
Your son said we have to give 10% to the big man. Joe, what's that all about?
Even before tonight's debate, about 47 million Americans have already voted, ahead of Election Day, which is just 12 days away.
You know who I am. You know who he is. You know his character. You know my character. You know our reputations for honor and telling the truth. I am anxious to have this race.
You know, Joe, I ran because of you. I ran because of Barack Obama, because you did a poor job. If I thought you did a good job, I would have never run.
They discussed the future of health care.
I'd like to terminate Obamacare, come up with a brand new, beautiful health care.
What I'm going to do is pass Obamacare with a public option.
Polls show there are far fewer undecided voters now than 2016, when President Trump was elected. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Nashville, Tennessee.
Well, the Trump campaign had wanted the entire debate to focus on foreign policy. Montana reported nearly 1,000 new COVID-19 cases today, smashing the previous single-day record. There have also been 3 more deaths. 2 of the victims reported in Dawson County and 1 in Marr County. MTN reports the statewide total of COVID-19 related deaths is now 293. As for the 932 new positive cases reported by the state today, Yellowstone County had 173, followed by Flathead with 112, Gallatin with 100, Missoula 96, and Cascade County with 89. Governor Bullock in Billings saying we're in for a long and rough road if we don't get the COVID spread under control. At a news conference, Bullock talked about measures being taken to make sure that more people and businesses comply with health orders.
The virus will keep on spreading if there are no protections in place and no accountability to the restrictions that we already have.
Part of the plan to change that in Yellowstone County, which has the most COVID cases in the state, includes hiring 4 COVID education liaison officers using CARES Act money to investigate complaints. County Health Officer John Felton says there have been hundreds of them.
If they do validate the complaint, the business, individual, or organization in violation would receive education about compliance expectations and guidance on how to demonstrate compliance. That business, individual, or organization will also be informed that an unannounced follow-up visit will occur. If a second visit validates the complaint again, evidence gathered by the liaisons would be turned over to the county attorney's office and to me as county health officer.
Felton says that could result in criminal charges from the county attorney and that he also does have the power to close a building down.
Our position at the Billings Chamber of Commerce is that in order to keep the business community at large open, as well as to get the high number of positive cases under control, there must be enforcement behind local and state mandates.
We know how quickly this virus spreads, and as Montanans, we should always put the health of our own employees, friends, and neighbors first.
The governor also announced the state health department has launched a new page where people can report concerns. That complaint form is on the Department of Health and Human Services website. Well, some possible good news tonight in the fight against the coronavirus. U.S. regulators have approved the first drug to treat COVID-19. That drug remdesivir, an antiviral medicine given through an IV for patients needing hospitalization. According to a study by the U.S. National Institutes of Health, remdesivir cut the time of recovery by an average of 5 days. It has been authorized for use on an emergency basis since spring, but now it becomes the first to win full FDA approval in treating the virus. President Trump received that drug when he was sick a little earlier this month. All right, turning to Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire. We saw some snow, some cold today, and now we're about to see even more snow and cold.
It'll be a good weekend to snuggle up next to Q2 and just watch every program and every commercial we have.
All right.
Okay, did I get my $5 now? Let me show you what we're going to have here tonight. Yeah, we've had a lot of snow already today. Maybe not in your yard, but check this out. Over 4.8 miles west of Red Lodge, they had 28 inches of snow. It was upslope snow up in the mountains today. Red Lodge Mountain had 25 inches of snow. Lutheran had 13, 11 inches over Cook City, 10 inches at near Immigrant. Burgess Junction had 9 inches of snow. Livingston, 8.3 in the Billings Airport. Logan Airport, they had 4 inches of snow there today. And you'll notice we now have a whole new threat board starting to fill in. This is for the next storm that's moving in tomorrow. A number of different snowfall amounts, but here in the Billings area, about 6 to 12 inches of snow. And if that isn't enough, check out this. We're going to have 4 new record low temperatures Friday right on through Monday morning. It's going to be a very cold and record-setting weekend for us. Russ?
All right, thank you, Bob. The Carbon County Sheriff's Office is looking for help finding a missing woman from the Red Lodge area. Amy Markle was last seen in Red Lodge on Sunday, October 18th. This is a picture of her released by the Sheriff's Office. If you have any information on Markle's whereabouts and well-being, you're asked to contact the Red Lodge Police Department. That number is 444-1234. A Utah man accused of digging in the historic Fort Yellowstone Cemetery while claiming to be searching for the forest-fenned treasure is now facing federal charges. In a release from the United States Attorney's Office, Roderick Dow Craythorne was indicted last month on charges of excavating or trafficking in archaeological resources along with damaging U.S. property after investigators say Craythorne dug in that cemetery between October of 2019 and May of 2020. The forest-fenned treasure, based on clues left by the artist, started a decade-long search and was located in Wyoming in June of this year. Craythorne's trial is set for December 14th. As the weather turns colder, the need to take care of Billings homeless becomes even greater. The Montana Rescue Mission tells Q2 the team there is ready to help no matter what the weather. Even as they follow distance guidelines, employees say they can house and take care of those in need effectively, all while serving 3 hot meals a day. Now, in the last week alone, they've seen a huge outpouring from the community and increased donations.
You know, this time of year, like tonight, is supposed to be what, 10 degrees, even below that? It'd be really hard to be under a bridge or in your car on the street, and so we stand ready to help people. We've had a real outpouring of community support. With the cold weather, people dropping off coats and blankets, hats and gloves, winter boots, all things that we desperately need. And with the cold weather, the first snow of the year, people call us up and say, how can I help? And we've seen a real outpouring of that, so we're very thankful, and of course we can use more. Coats, hats, gloves, blankets, warm shoes, warm socks.
And if you'd like to donate clothing or food to the Montana Rescue Mission, you can simply stop by one of its locations. And Lundgren says they're especially in need of extra large and XXL winter jackets. Well, connecting car buyers with canines. Today, Rimrock Subaru held its second annual adoption event with the Yellowstone Valley Animal Shelter. Despite the cold outside, the mood inside was fun and festive. Staff at the dealership also brought their own dogs into work to show some support for the program.
Well, today is National Make a Dogs Day, and Subaru has invested $28 million to make sure that pets are taken care of and the homeless ones get a home. And we're donating $100 to our local shelter for every pet that's adopted. It's huge for animals that have disabilities, and they make sure that every pet gets a home, or tries to make sure that every pet gets a home.
And Rimrock Subaru will be making that $100 donation through the end of this month. Still to come on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2, a Billings doctor comes out of retirement to help in the fight against COVID-19. We'll hear her story next. And in sports, this Bronc may only be 5'7", but he's causing plenty of headaches for opponents. We'll meet him coming up a little later.